Welcome inside our New York studios. Brent Stover, Cardale Jones, Kevin Carter as well. One of the marquee matchups coming into weekend number 6 across college football came in the ACC, a top 20 showdown between the Miami Hurricanes with aspirations of a national title and the Florida State Seminoles. Certainly one of the surprises in terms of turnarounds from last season, and so far so good for the Noles coming in, although they did lose to Virginia last time out and had the field stormed on them. 3-0 here. Carson Beck, C.J. Daniels, great little move there to get open in the end zone. 7-3. Tommy Castellanos looking for his man downfield, picked off by Bryce Fitzgerald. Tough start from Castellanos. Canes up 7-3 in the second quarter. Kevin.
Yeah, next play, this is going to be Carson Beck. A little flea flicker action, a little trickeration, connects with Malachi Tony for the 44-yard touchdown. Canes up 14-3 on to the third. Beck hits Tony in stride, one little move, and he takes it to the house. 40 yards, second touchdown of the night. Canes up 21-3.
Miami, one of the best defenses in the country. Castellano looking in the end zone and then throwing it deep. Jacoby Thomas with a diving interception to end that drive right there for Florida State. And then Beck gives it to Daniels with a few blockers in front of him. And he does the rest, guys. It was a big touchdown here. His second one of the day. Miami wins this one big, 29-21.
So Florida State looking to do what Virginia did to them last week, and that is get a huge upset. But they follow up that double overtime setback to the Wahoos by losing by 6, and now the Noles 3-2. But the headline story: the Hurricanes 5-0, 1-0 in the ACC, 6-point win, 241 and 4 touchdowns for Carson Beck. What's the headline for you coming out of this final here?
Miami is the real deal. I'm not ready to say the U is back because they still got a few tough games on their schedule, and that's not have the wheels fall off this thing yet, but they're the real deal on both sides of the ball. One thing we did not talk enough about last year was the production on the defense side of the ball for Miami, because it was non-existent. Cam Ward and that offense was everything. They got into shootouts most of the time, and their defense was hard to stop anyone. And then on the flip side of that as well, they could not run the ball. Well, those were two things they addressed this past offseason, not just also bringing in Carson Beck, but really putting the focus on the defense and stopping them running the ball, and then also being able to run with guys like Mark Fletcher Jr.
Yeah, look, this team is complete from top to bottom. What Mario Cristobal did not have for Cam Ward coming into his team, he definitely went out and got this year. Defensive, offensive line are more than hardy in terms of protection and also stopping the run. These guys are formidable. But when I looked up about the start of the fourth quarter, I saw the stat line for Carson Beck, and it was 19 of 23 for 235 yards and 4 touchdowns. And I was like, man, that's just nasty.
That's Dilly.
I'm like,
that's Dilly.
I'm like, I didn't even look to see what his final numbers were on the day because it didn't matter. I mean, look at that. 20 of 27, 241 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, he's slinging it like with a small group of quarterbacks in college football right now that are in rarefied air in terms of who's actually getting it done like this. There's a really short list of guys, but Carson Beck right now is powering this team. But I think the best thing about this Miami team this year is the fact that everybody else on this roster seems to be following suit and matching his play. Man, this team, I don't know. I mean, like, we can say that, maybe who's the best team in the country, but I told you this earlier this week. If they beat Florida State on the road in Tallahassee, I'm an AP voter. I'm ranking them number 1 because right now they have one of the best, if not the best resume in college football.
It's a good resume.
To that.
Okay, all right.
It's a good resume. Because it's a good resume, but when we're talking about teams like Ohio State and we're talking about SEC teams, we're talking about gauntlets of schedules all the way through. For this team, they don't play another ranked team on the schedule. They're going to play Louisville, then Stanford, then SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt. I don't want to take anything away from the conference or get into that big argument because I've already been with your old college buddies. Unfortunately, found my way onto a text thread that I didn't invite myself onto on Saturday, discussing the strength or lack thereof of the ACC. But they're going to hugely benefit by who they're playing the rest of the way in the final 7 games.
I mean, Louisville's a good team. SMU is a good team. NC State, we'll see how they kind of shape out and what they're going to be. But at the end of the day, they're taking care of business. Even when you stack them up against teams where they're definitely the more superior talent, they're going out there and showing you that each and every week. And then you look at how they play really good teams like Notre Dame, like a Florida, and like a today in Florida State, and they go out there and completely dominate them, show those guys that you shouldn't even be on the field with us. So they're taking care of business, and they earned the right to play a cupcake finish the schedule because we all know they're going to put up some crazy numbers and play great defense.
Look, you guys, okay, you're saying cupcakes and you're saying an easy schedule. There is no such thing as an easy conference road ahead for anyone. Now, I know the way Miami looks right now, and I know that they're seemingly unbeatable and superhuman, but there's a reason that you have to go out and actually play the game. Game day execution matters. The strength of your team, the quality of your depth, and the health of that depth also matters as the season goes on. But right now, I'm with you guys. Miami looks like one of the best teams in football, and they're definitely going to benefit from not having quite the gauntlet that the Big Ten and the SEC possess. But this team has shown the way that it has put people away in this young season and the way they're winning their games. They've shown me that they're built right. I don't think anyone's going to have any qualms or issues if Miami's way up there in the polls or has one of those prime spots in the college football playoff.
3 ranked wins. Already beat Notre Dame, South Florida when they were ranked, and now over number 18, Florida State. Carson Beck, we put it up, 29-3 as a college quarterback. But the difference between him and those top two guys, the top two guys are both Clemson guys.
Yep.
He's played now for 2 schools. Just because you get in the portal and make a lot of money and get an opportunity doesn't mean that it's going to translate in the new environment. For him, he won all those games and led Georgia to unbelievable success. And he's doing the exact same thing at Miami. That was not guaranteed that he was going to step in and do that.
Yeah, for sure. You look at his success with Georgia, and then you got to turn the tape on to the other side of the ball, having 14 guys drafted on the defensive side of the ball the 2 to 3 years that he started there. Well, that's a different case. Miami has a great defense, but this isn't the Georgia defense where you can say, go out there and win these games for us. Carson Beck has continued to pick up where Cam Moore left off at on the offensive side of the ball, putting up great numbers, protecting the football, and making guys better around him. So he's a product of these last few wins in his new home at Miami. That I'm putting a lot of that credit on him versus the great defenses he was a part of at Georgia.
Can I flip this quick to Florida State, if you don't mind? They don't play another ranked team as well. They've got 2 losses. They're 3-2. Dreadful last year. Can they run the table? Like, is the verdict out on Florida State so far after 5 games?
I think they have the ability to run the table. I think they're that good. I think Thomas Castellanos is a dynamic playmaker at the quarterback position. And, you know, against teams not named Miami, I mean, they theoretically should have the best chance, give themselves the best chance for winning. I mean, look, maybe we can say if they go on and run the table that the Virginia game was a bit of a fluke. Maybe that loss doesn't look quite as bad if they're able to go through the rest of the season and just simply boat race everyone that they have left.
Get the final word, Cardale.
Well, see, it's going to be an uphill battle because they not just the last 2 games that they lost, but there's 0-2 in the conference. So it's going to be an uphill battle trying to get into the conference championship game to ultimately almost have a for sure bid for the college football playoff.
Third-ranked Miami trying to show that perhaps they are indeed the best team in the country. 6-point win in Tallahassee, 28-22 on Saturday over Florida State.